Welcome to the AI Hub, a podcast for AI-driven side hustles designed for IT professionals like you.
From cutting-edge AI tools to practical, no-nonsense tips, each episode brings you closer to turning tech into income.
Tune in to discover smart and sustainable ways to boost your career and income with AI.
Welcome back to AI Hub, the show that cuts through the noise and brings you the most fascinating insights from the world of AI. I'm Larry.
And I'm Amanda, your guide to all things AI.
Today we're diving into the Web Summit. Happened just recently over in Lisbon. They were expecting something like 70,000 people.
Wow, that's a lot of folks. Clean energy, global growth, they had a lot on their plate.
Yeah, sounds like it was buzzing over there, you know?
Yeah.
Kind of bummed I missed out on all that Lisbon sunshine.
Well, we can at least explore some of the key takeaways. AI regulations seem to be a big focus this year, which makes sense, right? Europe is really emerging as a leader in setting standards for AI.
Yeah, definitely. I thought Lambert Hogenhout's take was really interesting. He's the UN's lead on data and AI. He made the point that, we already have laws that cover a lot of the concerns around AI, like copyright, algorithmic bias, even safety issues.
Instead of reinventing the wheel, maybe we can adapt what we already have.
Right. But then there's AGI, artificial general intelligence.
Yeah.
That's totally uncharted territory. I mean, we're talking about AI that can, potentially think like a human.
And MIT professor Max Tegmark, he had some pretty strong words about that at the summit. Basically, we're rushing towards AGI without truly understanding it.
That's a bit like building a rocket ship and not knowing where it's going to land.
Exactly. He's saying we need to define the limits of AGI now before it gets too advanced, using it before we have those boundaries in place. Big mistake, he called it.
So we're not just regulating what already exists, we're trying to anticipate what's coming.
And a big part of that is going to be the environmental impact. You can't talk about AI without talking about sustainability.
It takes a ton of resources to train these huge AI models, right?
The data centers, the cooling systems. It's a lot. Professor Tegmark brought that up too. All the resources needed to build and power these centers. He's a strong advocate for good sources of energy to minimize the impact.
Which brings us to, a kind of surprising development from Microsoft. They're investing in nuclear power to meet the energy demands of their data centers.
Bold move, for sure. Public perception of nuclear energy isn't exactly rosy, but for Microsoft, it makes sense. They need reliable, clean energy. Nuclear offers that, potentially.
It's a gamble, though, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely. Nuclear has its own set of risks, no question. But it seems Microsoft is betting that they can manage those risks. They're investing in new nuclear technologies, working with regulators.
Trying to balance the need for computing power with, being environmentally responsible.
Right. And it really highlights just how complicated this relationship is between tech and sustainability.
Yeah, a lot to think about there. AI regulation, the ethics of AGI, the future of energy. Mind-blowing, really.
It is, and we've only just scratched the surface. There's so much more to explore, especially when it comes to the ethical implications of AI. It's interesting to think about all the different people and groups that are shaping the future of AI. Governments are trying to figure out how to regulate it.
And researchers are pushing the boundaries of what's even possible with AI.
Right, and then companies like Microsoft are trying to balance all this incredible innovation with being responsible, to the planet.
And then there's us, the everyday people who are going to be impacted by all these decisions.
It really is a complex ecosystem, and it's changing so fast. That's what makes these conversations about the ethical and societal implications of AI, so important.
Yeah, for sure. And it makes me think about what's been happening with social media. We're just now starting to grasp how it's affecting us, like our mental health, even our democracy, even our sense of reality.
And with AI, it's like all of that could be amplified even more if we're not super careful.
So how do we make sure that AI is used ethically, responsibly? What are some actual steps we can take?
I mean, conversations like this one are a good place to start. We need to raise awareness, about the potential downsides of AI and really get the public involved in this conversation about its future.
And it's so important that the people who are actually building AI are representative of all of humanity.
Absolutely. If it's just a small group of people shaping this technology, it's going to reflect their biases.
We need AI that's built for everyone, by everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And that means creating opportunities for people from all different backgrounds to get involved in AI through education, through training, through mentorship programs.
And transparency is key too.
100%.
We need to know how these systems are being built, how they make decisions, what data they're being trained on.
Right. If we want to be able to trust AI, we need to understand it. And that means demanding transparency from the companies that are building it.
But transparency by itself isn't enough. We need accountability too.
Yeah.
Like if an AI system causes harm, there needs to be a way to hold whoever's responsible accountable.
That's going to be a huge challenge going forward, how to create a system of accountability that balances responsibility with, all this amazing innovation.
It's not going to be easy.
It's not, but it's essential. The stakes are way too high to ignore these issues.
The good news is that there are people working on this already. Researchers, policymakers, ethicists, activists. There's this whole movement around building responsible AI.
It is inspiring to see. It makes me hopeful that we can, go through this technological revolution in a way that actually benefits everyone.
Listening to you, it strikes me that this isn't really just about AI.
What do you mean?
It's about us, our values, what we care about, what kind of world we want to build. AI is just a tool, a really powerful one.
I see what you're saying.
But in the end, it's up to us to decide how we use it.
That's a great point. And it leads perfectly into the last part of our deep dive, where we'll be looking at the unexpected connection between AI and nuclear energy.
That's right. Get ready, folks. Things are about to get nuclear. All right, so Microsoft and nuclear energy. I got to admit, at first I was like, really? But the more I think about it, it kind of makes sense.
Yeah, it's definitely out of the box, right? But remember all that stuff we talked about, how much energy data centers use and the need for sustainable solutions? Well, nuclear does have some advantages there.
Yeah, it's super efficient, way smaller carbon footprint than fossil fuel.
Exactly. But I get it. Safety is a huge concern. Chernobyl, Fukushima,
Yeah, those were awful. But hasn't technology come a long way since then?
Oh, absolutely. Nuclear technology's advanced a lot, and safety protocols are much stricter. Microsoft seems to be taking it seriously, investing in new tech, working with regulators to make sure everything's safe.
So they're not messing around.
Nope. And if it works out for them, it could be a model for other companies. Think about it, the impact that could have on fighting climate change.
Yeah, that's pretty wild to think about. It really shows how everything's connected. AI, regulation, sustainability, now even nuclear energy.
It's all part of this puzzle, figuring out how to navigate the rise of AI. And it all comes back to that one idea: AI is a tool. Like any tool, it can be used for good or for bad. It's up to us to decide.
Really well said. And that wraps up our deep dive into the Web Summit and what's coming next in AI. We covered a lot: AI regulation, AGI, ethical questions, even nuclear power.
It's been quite a journey.
If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to subscribe to AI Hub. We'll keep bringing you the most interesting stuff happening in AI. Thanks for listening.
Welcome to the AI Hub, a podcast for AI-driven side hustles designed for IT professionals like you.
From cutting-edge AI tools to practical, no-nonsense tips, each episode brings you closer to turning tech into income.
Tune in to discover smart and sustainable ways to boost your career and income with AI.